So we continue with our third part of the lesson for this week, which is the transport system in animals, particularly stitching process that takes place in the respiratory system. So let's take a look. So for respiratory system, okay, we have the different organs present. We have the larynx, the nasal cavity, pharynx, trachea, bronchus, bronchi, and lungs, which deals with the different parts of the respiratory system. So, what is your respiratory system for? So, the respiratory system are the organs and other parts that are involved in breathing when you exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide. Okay, so okay, exchanging all these things is when you breathe. So, how do we breathe? So, breathing starts when you inhale air into your nose or your mouth, and it travels down the back of your throat and into your windpipe as it divided into air passages called bronchial tubes. And for that, okay, when you are inhaling the things, for example, the oxygen, so it goes down to your, starting from your nose or the nostril, and then or mouth, and then it goes to your windpipe, and it goes along to the different parts of the lungs, and then so your lungs will can be able to perform as these airways need to be open. They should be free from inflammation or swelling and extra mucus. So if you're able to take good care of your lungs by not smoking or not going to places that are uh, polluted, so you'll be able to have good breathing patterns such that na walang swelling ito and you don't have your mucus for that later if marami kasing ganyan, if there will be an inflammation, then that causes for you to have cough or make yourselves it's hard to breathe. So what are those different organs that functions for the respiratory system? So let's talk about it one by one. So starting with your nostrils, we're in the air goes into your body, and then next will be your pharynx. Okay, these are the connections from nostril to your pharynx, which goes to be the channel. Okay, channel for the going down of the air for your airways, or shall we say this is an airway for the air to move down your body or to go into your lungs. So pleural membrane helps keeps the lungs flexible. So without it doing flexible things, then some of your movement for your lungs will not be go normally if wala yan. Then right primary bronchus, so allows air to enter the right lung. So if you can see, your lungs is two. Okay, your lungs are two, your left lung and the right. And so right primary bronchus will be your airway to the right lung. And then or the entering of your air. So protects the ribs also functions for the protection of your respiratory organs, such as what I have said a while ago from the image that I have for you from the first slide. So intercostal muscles moves the ribs during breathing. So as you are going to inhale or exhale, so na po siya, okay, there will be movement of your muscles to that when you're breathing, and your diaphragm helps pump the lungs. So there's still pumping of the lungs para dili pud mabigla imong lungs for the passage of the of their oxygen, or shall we say there will be movement of air for that as the diaphragm is going to pump. Okay, your nasal cavity purifies and humidifies the air. Okay, as air is going to get inside your nasal, so at least okay, there should be a filter for that. So somehow air is napoy kanang dirt, so it can do its function for that, for purification. And oral cavity lets air and food enter. Okay, that is the passageway within the pharynx and your nose. And then epiglottis keeps food from entering the airway. So with the presence of epiglottis, so your food, the one that you are consuming, could not enter your lung area. So it's important to have that one, that particular parts. But all of these are very important. So larynx, letting air pass through speech production. Okay, so that is when you are doing your communication or you're communicating, then kalmota siya, vibration happens in larynx, and trachea channels the air toward the left and right bronchi. So it's still a connection between your lungs. So to for syempre for an air to pass through it and directed to the bronchi. So primary bronchus allows air to enter the left lung, and the bronchioles lets air reach the alveoli, wherein the alveoli is the one to for the oxygen and the carbon dioxide exchange within the inside of your lungs. So inside of your lungs are the bronchioles, the alveoli. So that happens to be a good part of the respiratory system to which the oxygen and the carbon dioxide are being exchanged, okay, for syempre the survival of us people. Okay, so let's take a look at the let's take a look on how respiratory system works, its function. Okay, as we watch the video.
To understand the process of breathing, in humans, the main organs responsible for respiration are present in the thoracic cavity. In the thorax region, the rib cage and a dome-shaped fibrous tissue, known as the diaphragm, are observed. Present within the rib cage are the pleural membranes, which enclose the lungs. The right lung is divided into 3 lobes: the right superior, right middle, and the right inferior lobe. The left lung is smaller and has only 2 lobes, the left superior and the left inferior lobe. Both the lungs are associated externally with small tubular bronchi, which unite and extend into the trachea. The trachea has incomplete C-shaped rings of cartilage, which prevent the tracheal wall from collapsing. The trachea leads into the pharynx, which is connected to the nostrils. As we breathe in air, the oxygen molecules enter the nostrils and travel downwards through the pharynx and trachea to finally reach the bronchi. From each bronchus, oxygen travels into the lungs. Within the lungs, the bronchus divides repeatedly to form bronchioles. Oxygen travels through these bronchioles and reaches the alveoli, each of which is surrounded by a network of capillaries. A section of one alveolus shows the presence of numerous alveolar chambers with pores. Blood, containing RBCs, is seen flowing through the capillaries. The oxygen molecules from the alveolus diffuse into the capillary and then get absorbed by the bluish-purple RBCs. This causes oxygenation of the RBCs, and a transition in their color from bluish-purple to red is observed. The blood moving into the alveolus contains RBCs and carbon dioxide molecules. These molecules are released into the alveolus. The carbon dioxide collects in the alveolar chamber. And then from the alveolus, it travels through the bronchioles into the bronchus, which finally reaches the trachea and is breathed out through the nostrils. So the process of breathing in air rich in oxygen is called inhalation. After the contraction of the muscular diaphragm, the lungs expand and the air rushes in, resulting in the inflation of the alveoli. During exhalation, the diaphragm moves up and the lungs contract. Thus, the alveoli deflate, causing the air to be forced out. This exhaled air is rich in carbon dioxide. This process of inhalation and exhalation is known as respiration, which is approximately 20 times per minute. Summary. In the thorax region, the rib cage and the diaphragm are observed, which play a vital role in respiration. Present within the rib cage are the pleural membranes, which enclose the lungs. The right lung consists of 3 lobes, while the left lung has only 2 lobes. Both the lungs are associated externally with bronchi, which unite and extend into the trachea. As we breathe, the oxygen molecules enter the nostrils and travel downwards through the pharynx and trachea to finally reach the bronchi. From each bronchus, oxygen travels into the lungs. Within the lungs, the bronchus divides repeatedly to form bronchioles. Oxygen travels through these bronchioles and reaches the alveoli, each of which is surrounded by a network of capillaries. As blood flows through the capillaries, the oxygen molecules from the alveolus diffuse into the capillary. This causes oxygenation of the RBCs. The carbon dioxide molecules are released into the alveolus. They are collected in the alveolar chamber, and then from the alveolus, it travels through the bronchioles. Into the bronchus, which finally reaches the trachea and is breathed out through the nostrils.